Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee Chat. We're back to the regular Coffee Chat intro instead of the spooktacular intro, which is kind of sad. I miss spooktacular. Can we just go back to October? Like, I'm excited for Christmas, but I'm also like, man, that was a good month and I miss it. Oh my gosh, 2026 is upon us. We are just weeks away. Christmas is here, holidays are here, end of the year frenzy, busiest month of the year. It is wild. I personally have been, you know, going through that. I feel like I do this every year where I go through this transitional period of, you know, busy and live nearly every day in October, vlogging every single day until or through November. And then obviously we have lives here in November as well. And then uh, it just all falls off a cliff. And then it's suddenly like, it's not like I suddenly have all this free time because we are, launching and new videos and planner lineups and all those other things are coming together. But it's just that idea of like, community every single day. We've got live streams and all this fun and all these things and events. And then suddenly it's like, ugh, now it's over. And it makes me sad every time. I have missed you guys. Yes, I'm definitely having withdrawal symptoms. I just feel like, and I do this every year because it's just 2 months of a lot of work. I am in my like very oversized Magnolia t-shirt today and just kind of the weather is a little bit cold and overcast. We went and we were in our first little family parade last night. We were in the like local Christmas parade and it was so cold, but it was also really fun. The kids, well, Andrew was a little bit grumpy, but Evie was having a blast. And so that was fun to see. But I woke up this morning not feeling really good because I've been having some health issues the last couple months and trying to kind of push through. But man, it has been a tough year with that. And I kind of want to talk about this a little bit today. I didn't come with any specific plan for the day, but just kind of whatever comes up. I grabbed my tarot cards just in case. And I have the Friday coffee chat questions that have piled up in the parades are made for Evie. That's so true. She's such a parade girl. She was having the time of her life. She was having the best time, like so much laughing. We're not healthy over here, not sick, but not 100% healthy either. Tried to snow this morning. I know a lot of places in the US have been getting snow, not Texas, but we have been in freezing temperatures this week a little bit. So I think just a little bit under the weather, a little bit of pain, a little bit of, different things. I hope George's dad is doing better. He is out of the hospital and doing much better. So that is a positive. So hopefully that continues to trend upward. I feel like, does anybody else feel like 2025 has been such a year of transition and like the energy for me a lot this year has been trying to move forward and then keep getting pushed back. It has been happening a lot for me this year and it feels very frustrating and just figuring out how to navigate it when I feel like very blessed over the last even like sometimes it's hard to think about, but I just started YouTube in 2018, which 2026 we're going to be coming up on 8 years, but it feels like so much longer. It's hard to kind of remember my life before I was on YouTube. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just before Heart Breathings. And actually, the Cultivate with Kindness. What is that planner? PowerPoint, not PowerPoints. That can't be it. Power Sheets. Did anybody ever use the Power Sheets? I used them for a year and I happened to find that in my notebook closet the other day when I was going through things. Thank you. I knew somebody's got to know like PowerPoints. That is definitely not it. Yeah, Power Sheets. And they're so good. I know that she's still, yeah. You guys, I got it completely wrong. Thank you for everybody in the comments who knows what they're talking about. Hey, Janine, Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets. It's like goal setting sheets. And I was trying to use those in addition to my own system, like HB90 for work goals, Power Sheets for personal stuff. And it was so interesting because this is kind of before there was an HB90. Really, I was using just the Kanban board piece of it. And I Oh, she sold? Did she sell the business? I haven't followed her in a while, but it's a really great goal setting system that can really go with your whole life. So recommended. Of course, I love HB90 as well for that. But I found my old one and I don't know what year it must have been from, but it had to have been from 2016, 2017. I'm not sure what year she started those, but they were kind of going around, sort of going viral for a bit. So I bought the like half year power sheets and I had written in it something about like strengthening our marriage, praying to have a better, healthier PCOS so that I could have a baby, which checked off, healthy marriage, good, checked off, had a baby. And then also, so gosh, yeah, it had to have been probably 2017. And then the third goal in that power sheets was I really want to start a blog called Heart Breathings. And I had all my little dreams and goals of like, wouldn't it be so great? And at the time I thought it was going to be a website. I didn't realize that it was going to be like my vision at the beginning was going to be like stay like blog, Pinterest, that kind of things. But it's just obviously turned into a whole YouTube channel and a community and courses and planners and who knows all those different things. But I really and truly like was interesting to look back at those old uh goals because it's like, okay, like sometimes when you feel like you're not making good progress, if you look back far enough, you can realize just how far you've come. So I had that kind of moment for myself last night. Yay, thank you for buying the Q1 planner. All the HB90 planners just went up today. So yeah, so that was a big moment to see that. But I've had since I started Heart Breathings, I feel like there's been a lot of momentum, definitely some years that have been more difficult, but also a lot of growth, a lot of change, a lot of like moving forward. And then this year, I feel like every time I try to push forward, something is standing in my way. I won't give you tons of examples because I think most of you kind of know what I mean. And plus some of the examples would be personal, but it's sort of like saying, okay, I'm going to get on the treadmill every morning. And then the next day you break your foot. Like that didn't happen to me, but that's an example of what I'm talking about is just like once you make a decision that I am going to get this done, tomorrow you wake up and there's something standing in your way that is insurmountable. Like you can't change it. And that has felt like a lot of what has been going on this year. And I feel like it has me going, wait, which way, which way, which way? So I am super, super excited to be back in this idea of like, okay, let's set a fresh, clean slate. Like I'm so glad that the new year is coming because it is the perfect time to set the slate clean, have the chance to review what hasn't been working, what is working, what I can do next, and going back through that process of planning and really dreaming and thinking about 2026. But I feel like the last time I kept running against so many blocks and walls was like 20 years ago when I had to completely change my life. And there has been this feeling like this almost like panic coming up inside me of like, is the universe telling me I need to make massive shifts? Because I'm actually really happy and I have worked really hard to get where I am. And I don't want to have to change a lot of that stuff. And so I think there's just been this sort of general sense of unease for me. And I think that's why I'm really missing the community interaction of Spooktacular and Rough Draft Challenge and things like that, because it's like causing me to go back into my silence and be like, okay, is everything okay? Is next year going to be better? I know I'm being a little bit vague, but it's just kind of hard sometimes to figure that out. And I was curious if anybody else has been feeling that. And I did see some comments in the like comments in the comments. Yes, I did see some comments of big transitions, different, time slips so badly. It is so true. Transitions of 2025 are just the beginning. I hope it's just the beginning and 2026 is gonna be amazing and not that it's just the beginning and everything is falling apart. Because I feel like a lot of things have that I put into place have fallen apart in 2025, and I hope they don't continue to fall apart, because I don't know where that's gonna leave me. So, Abby says, "If your life had a theme song, what would it be? Taylor Swift, perhaps?" That is such an interesting question. I feel like I'm not good at answering these kinds of questions because there's so much nuance to that. If your life had a theme song, I don't know. Anybody else have an answer for that? Oh, what is HB90? Sorry, sometimes I forget that we're on different sometimes different wavelengths from the other. HB90, so I have a second YouTube channel called Heart Breathings where we talk about author stuff and planners and productivity, and HB stands for Heart Breathings, 90 stands for 90-day system. So it's a method for planning 90 days at a time. So it's a planner and it's a course which is open right now. So hey Jeremy, it's so good to see you. Better knock on wood now. Is that your song or you're just saying because of what I was saying? I know. Going through a lot of roadblocks this year. So I know I'm not only alone in that. Sometimes things are probably not meant to be and it's hard for us to accept it. Yeah, I think that that can be true too. But I also feel like there's definitely some things that are not meant to be, but I don't think every roadblock means this isn't meant for you. If that were true, then every business that was built would be built easily, right? Every dream that you went after, like, oh, I want to be an actress, you just go and like you become an actress tomorrow and you're making millions of dollars. Like, I think that you kind of um, you have to find your way around the roadblocks or to figure out what's in alignment. So I don't think roadblocks always mean this isn't meant for me, because I think all dreams come with roadblocks and things that we have to overcome. But I also think that for some reason this year has been just an extraordinary amount of roadblocks, both emotionally and health wise and business wise in various ways. And it's like, man, I am so ready to be over it. How do I see it or look at it? So if you go to Heart Breathings here on YouTube, there's a playlist called Kanban Board that has some stuff about it. But also if you go to my most recent video, there's a link to the course if you want to look at the sales page for that. Me too. But things are starting to look up. I love to hear that. What you describe has been my entire year. That happened to me the start of the year. I broke my wrist. Emma, are you feeling so much better now? Is it all healed? I know wrist stuff can be really complicated. I had so much I had to get done this week. Then both my kids were homesick. I got nothing done. Yeah. And that feels so frustrating, right? Because once you have all your goals laid out, yeah, ding, ding, ding. I have a feeling we're going to talk about this a little bit. Once you have all your goals laid out, sometimes it can feel really frustrating, especially if you've set them by deadlines and then there's people like waiting for you. There's responsibilities that have to get done. And it's like, now we're sick. So now it's like forced rest. And now everything is going to feel more chaotic. And yeah, it can be tough, but I'm going to come back to this upper limit because we probably need to explain what that means to some people. Just finished the last episode yesterday, and I know that I had explained to people that I was going to put out the book today, but I couldn't do it. Too much with the rough draft challenge and then health issues with the cyst and other things. I could not get it done. No, so I should have surgery coming up, but they still haven't been able to schedule it. So it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. I am not going to cry, but I'm doing okay. I don't want to like give triggering conversations, but it's been a rough few weeks. And that plays into it too. So I'm just going to give A Mirror of Shadows the time it needs over the holidays to marinate. We'll edit it, get it up in January. So I'm switching some scenes around and I'm adding some scenes to it. So it's probably going to end up being around 75,000 words, I think, in the end. So that'll be a fun surprise to read the extra scenes when you guys get it. I think I'm going to enjoy going Your Path Forward, as there's no hard deadline. So that's the other course, is Your Path Forward. The game board idea is genius. Thank you so much. That has been a game changer for me, and that I'm ready to go back through, but I've got to work on this piece of upper limit, which we'll get to in just a second. Last time I got so far behind on comments. I want to try to keep up with them. Year of chronic health worsening. I wasn't able to finish edits, publish my debut book. Hopefully 2026 will be my year. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I completely understand how just frustrating and heartbreaking it can be to have your plans delayed when it's not in your control. A lot of uneasiness. Yeah, this feeling of like, I hope, Jennifer, I feel positive about it. I feel really excited about 2026. I feel like this is sometimes what has to happen is sometimes old things have to go by the wayside in order for the new things to appear and come together. And I trust that, but also it's hard when you're going through it, right? So much has fallen apart, but has been rebuilt even stronger. Golden. I do think that could be a good one. We talk about this a lot in this household, the golden one, as well as Angela and I as friends. This gonna be golden. Like I do think that could be a good one. Wasn't the best year for you either. Dun dun dun. This may be self-sabotage trying to sneak up before the absolute most amazing new year ahead. Hey LA. I hope so. I hope it is. Well, I don't love the self-sabotage piece of it, but I do love the idea of us having a great year next year. Huge transition for me across everything: health, writing, work, family. So some things better, some things not quite as good. Anime theme song changes every 3 seasons. Yes, the Blood Witch has the answer. I do love that. There's always this sense when you're going through an anime that you love when it changes arcs and you're like, oh man, I missed the old song. I don't like this one. And then the next time you're like, oh, I love this song. That's the way I always go with. No More Drama. That would be a good song to go through. My Life, Billy Joel. Sorry, I just found you a week ago. Oh my gosh, you were given my books as a gift. That's so exciting. Welcome to the community. I'm so glad you're here. A couple of podcasts I listen to that talk about tarot and astrology, and they both have talked about 2025 being an internal year for people and 2026 being a year where people can make big changes. My yearly tarot card switches in January on my birthday, and my next year card is the Chariot. This year was the Devil, and I feel like a lot of that self-sabotage, like chained to old limiting beliefs, having to push through, has been true for me. So the Chariot is much more about balance and forward motion. So I'm hoping to feel that. So thank you for sharing that, Lindsay. Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Listen, that is like, if I turned on my record player right now, that is the song that would play because my child is obsessed with that song. She comes in, can I play Shake It Off? Yes, you can. 2025, the year of change, both good and bad. More health, my grandma's health, but still got a lot done. Yeah. I Drink Alone by George Thorogood. I do not even know that song. But that sounds like, I'm not sure if that's depressing or exciting. If things fall apart, they're making room for the next good things yet to come. I view roadblocks as the universe conspiring to get me to the right place at the right time. I just don't ever know when or where that is. How's your book coming, Samantha? I'm thinking about you. Regarding Meant For, they say big things that make a difference are full of roadblocks, paying your dues. Yeah, I can feel that sometimes too. Like, can I get the blessing and smooth going package and not the trials and tribulations one? And there are seasons of life where it feels like that. Like when I first started Heart Breathings, I was going through some other like hard things, but also like just that channel itself took off more than I expected it to. And everything was looking up. We had just moved into a house with a view of the ocean. It was just, sometimes there are those moments. So yeah, sure. You can link HB90. I should have linked it in the comments, but go ahead and do it. Year of crappy health. I'm sorry, Mel. It's going to be okay. I started training for an Ironman and then my bike broke down. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These are the kinds of things I feel like have been happening all year long. What does it mean? That's why you don't plan 100% because obstacles and roadblocks exist. Exactly. I know I'm way behind, but remember your 2026 tarot card, the Chariot. Yes. Oh my gosh, Kelly, we were just talking about that. Perfect. We can all agree 2025 has not been the best year, and I'm usually one that feels alone and isolated. Yeah, Jordan. Well, you found us in this community, so we're doing good here. It's hard to get doctor's appointments these days. Yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. I love your path forward. Are you going to go back through it with us? It's kind of the sort of course that you don't necessarily need to go back through, but you might get some reminders as you go. This is what it sounds like is so much more powerful for me. Like every song in that entire show, that movie is just so deep, and I just love it. I love it. 2025 extra nonsense had my debut pushback, but good news, I finally got a cleanse of toxic creative beliefs. That is exciting, Janine. I'm very excited to hear that for you. Um, okay, I'm just gonna move forward. If you have a comment that you want me to get to, because I'm like already so far behind, we're just gonna fast forward. What I love is that I feel like we're such good friends here, and I can be honest, and I can just like let my hair down a little bit around you guys, and I really love that. Um, I looked at 2025 being a 5-year reset after 2020. Now we have a good 2026. Cycles repeat every 3 to 5 years. You grow stronger every cycle. So I have talked about this. Uh, I'll listen, my Spotify Wrapped is always my kids' songs, and my YouTube was the same because Evie, when she gets sick, sometimes she watches YouTube on my YouTube. So it's like YouTubers that are not people that I watch. So I'm like, man, they need to. I know that there's a YouTube Kids account that I should just move her over, but it's just easier to just hand her my phone when she's sick. Bad. It's not necessarily bad mom. It's just like, survival mode when she was so sick last year. But anyway, I feel like the idea of upper limit could be exactly what is partially going on for me is this idea. So the idea of upper limit comes from a book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. This book completely transformed my life, completely transformed my life. In a hard way. It was one of those things of like things falling apart so that they could fall together. You have to shine a light on the dark spots so that you can clear them and integrate them and move on. You were in my YouTube Wrapped. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I saw, so Joshi Corinne's here. I saw a lot of people posting that both of us were in their YouTube Wrapped, which made me happy. Oh, Sarah was in my top channels too. Joshi Corinne should be in my top channels because I watch almost all of your videos. However, you were not because they were all kids channels, which just made me frustrated. But anyway, the upper limit is this idea that okay. I'll see if I can explain it briefly, but it's this idea of we have this subconscious idea of our own self-worth and what we're able to achieve in our lives, like what we're worthy of, what we should be able to achieve, what we should be able to accomplish in life, worthiness. But it's on a subconscious level, not necessarily what you think on the tip of your brain, but like deep down. So we all have this limit, this kind of upper limit of like, this is what I'm worthy of. And we're not aware of it most of the time. But if you find yourself hitting a wall after wall after wall, or it's like you've just made, like, here's a good example of hitting an upper limit is you just made this extra money and you finally paid off your credit card, and then you wrecked your car and now you had to put $5,000 to get it fixed, or you have to buy a new car and now all your savings is drained. Or this same kind of thing. You decide you're going to finally get fit and you get on the treadmill and you break your foot and now you're down for 6 weeks. Those kinds of things are hallmarks of upper limit. And the upper limit problem is basically when you can't break through an upper limit because you are kind of unaware of it, but because of your subconscious sense of what you're worthy of or what's possible for you. And I think that's what I'm going through again, because I started to dream a little bit bigger than what I think my subconscious self-worth is. Because some of the times when I start thinking of the like the biggest dreams that I have in my life, there's this immediate response in my body and in my brain of like, yeah, but you'll never have that because X, Y, and Z. And even though I've been trying to work through that stuff through parts work and journaling, and I've spent years in therapy and all these other things, man, I think I'm hitting it again. And so to get to the next level for myself, I think I'm going to have to continue to work through those. So how do you work through upper limit problems? So if anybody else is kind of working through some of this on your own, I highly recommend one, you pick up the book, The Big Leap. Audiobook is really great, or the book itself. It is usually at every library. It is somewhat of an easy, short read, but it talks about this, and it talks about the reasons why you might have this lower sense of self-worth, or this lower sense of um like he gives 5 reasons, and I can't remember exactly what all of them are. Yes, it's like a what gives me the right to have these big dreams. It can also be a fear of like, but I'm fundamentally flawed and I don't think that I can have that kind of life because I'm not as good as other people, or there's a flaw in me. It can also be, but if I go that big and I'm become that good, then I'll lose everybody that I love because they'll think that I'm not in their life anymore, or various other reasons. But there's multiple reasons why you might kind of get that sense of no matter how hard I try, I can't hit that next level. But he explains it so much better in the book. So good. And he does, it's by Gay Hendricks. I'll write it in the comments and I'll put it on the screen. So it's by Gay Hendricks. It's called The Big Leap. I think he does have some follow-up books as well. But I think it can be imposter syndrome, but I think it also has other pieces to it. But yeah, that's a pretty good way to describe it, as being imposter syndrome. But it does also have fear of leaving people behind, fear of being too good. Like there's various other nuances to it besides just what I would call imposter syndrome. But I think that is a good way to do it. But yeah, so it's kind of, I wish I could like remember the exact specificities of what he talks about in the book, because I do think it is a little bit different than just imposter syndrome. But this is a good question too. Is it just barriers that naturally arise when you try to do something? But I think it's, if I could just find the right words. Come on. It's like lapis lazuli, get into my brain and my throat. It's this idea of subconsciously, but see, that sounds like imposter syndrome. But I do think, Jennifer, you have a point that like anytime you go to do something you've never done before, or to break through barriers around what you've ever done, there are going to be challenges. But I think the difference between an upper limit and just a roadblock is the idea that you are trying to come at this every possible way, but no matter what you do to go up, there's always something that brings you back down. And it partially is this subconscious, like self-sabotage kind of pattern, energetic pattern in your life that you don't even realize you're doing to keep yourself from going up above. And it's not, I feel like imposter syndrome, I don't know. I got to think about how to differentiate those, because they may just be the same thing. But I'm not sure. But I do think that there is a difference between those. Like naturally, there's going to be roadblocks and there's going to be challenges anytime we're going after something big. But it's a matter of, if you have been at this level for so many years and you just can't seem to break through it, what is going on with that? So yeah, it's not taking a big leap because you don't believe you can, you don't believe you deserve it, you believe your life will change too much, you are scared of it. I think all of that is good. I don't know. Your brain being like, "Oop, this is scary. I'll take you back to normal." Yeah, exactly. So some of the ways that people have described this that we've talked about here on this channel before is this idea of a thermostat. You know, you set your thermostat to 72 degrees and that's where you're comfortable. And so if it gets too hot and the sun comes out, the air will kick on and bring it back to 72. If it gets cold outside and it's 30 degrees outside, the heat will kick on and bring you back to 72. And that is kind of what our subconscious minds tend to do for us, is this idea of, you know, when we get out of that comfort zone, whatever that zone is, if we're up above it or we're below it, is something in our lives will make us go back to that comfort zone regardless. And so the key to getting out of the upper limit is to move beyond that 72% and try to raise your thermostat to 75%, 76%, or whatever that that temperature is, right? So To Be Magnetic is a podcast called Expanded, as well as a membership called The Pathway. She also has a book called How to Manifest. So Denise says TBM talks about how the universe tests you to sort of see if these desires are part of your authentic self. And, there's a process there that they talk about. And so far, I have not had any great breakthroughs with that process. So I don't know if I'm trying too many different things all at once, or if it's that I just struggle with the meditations or what. But I'm still on there. But when you really think of um, if you're hitting some of those roadblocks that don't just feel like I'm trying new things and I'm stumbling a little bit, they feel more like I am stuck and I cannot get beyond this, then there is potentially an upper limit kind of thing. And he does talk about this. So in The Big Leap, he talks about your zone of genius and that we often get trapped in our zone of competence, that most people stay in their zone of competence, which is basically where you have risen to the level where you're competent, where you're getting things done, and maybe you're even a little bit above average, but you haven't allowed yourself to really elevate to the place where it's like, this is your zone of genius. This is who you were meant to be kind of zone. And that comes from this upper limit. And I feel like I probably need a reread of that book because of where I am. I would like to really spend some time in these last few weeks of the year going through kind of the tools that I have and the things that I have used in the past that have worked for me. And yeah, book buddy read. Let's do it. Let's do it. I would love to go back through it for sure, because I definitely feel like I need it. And I feel like TBM, the pathway has a lot of like meditations that are based in like neuroplasticity, like EMDR techniques and somatic healing and various other things for meditation that can help you rewire your subconscious mind. But I struggle with those for various reasons. One being because I fall asleep, which I know hypnosis and meditations can still work when you fall asleep, but I get massive headaches if I accidentally fall asleep. So I have to do them at night, but I don't always have time if Evie won't go to sleep. So it's maybe that's part of my like upper limit problem, is the struggle to get those done. I just read a great book by Manardeep Singh called 12 Rules of the Universe. I will have to check that out. Can we have a Joshie and Sarah buddy read? I would die for that collab. We should do it. We should do it. But I'm going to dive back into some of these tools because I feel for myself like this is more than just roadblocks along the path. I feel like this is upper limit. And in order to have 2026 and the dreams that I have of it being an amazing year, I'm really going to have to work on getting past this. EMDR, if you're not familiar with that, it's a type of therapy that's about, it works with eye movement. And sometimes it also has to do with like alternating pings like on your hands and stuff like that. I did EMDR too. And I know a lot of people that it worked really well for. And then I know a lot of people that it didn't work really well for. I think it can just depend on your therapist, because it was working super well for me. And then COVID hit and we had to do it over Zoom, and it didn't really work for me very well over Zoom. But I think that any type of therapy that you can go through can be good. If you have the funds and the availability to be able to do it. But also I think journaling can really help too, and talking through. Like I learn a lot about myself just by talking through. So having a friend or other things like that to really talk through things with can be helpful. So you're doing an EMDR class this weekend. Are you, Jody? Oh my goodness. Question about HB90. What's the difference between the 2026 goal setting workbook and the one listed for authors and entrepreneurs? So they're the same planner. It's just the goal setting workbook is the goals pages. So the way the HB90 planner works is like the Q1 planner is just for 90 days. And the first 55 pages is the goal setting workbook. And the rest of it is the daily planner. The goal setting workbook, the 2026 yearly one, is those 55 goal setting pages for all 4 quarters of the year. the Q1 is just for the first 90 days, and that one has daily pages. The other one doesn't. So if you just want to set your goals, but you want to use a different planner for your daily planner, or you don't like daily planners, buy the goal setting workbook for the year. But if you want a quarterly goal setting workbook with the daily pages, buy the Q1 planner. Journaling, EMDR works well. And let's see. Yeah, if you're busy with the little one, the audiobook will work better for sure. I keep track of my triggers for breakthroughs via journaling. I like to find good questions and really sit with them. I'm a question collector. Oh, I love to know that about you. That is so fun. Yeah. Hey, Amanda, welcome back. So yeah, I'm working through some of this stuff, and I just wanted to kind of talk about it to let you know that, in a way, just to normalize the fact that you can work through these cycles. You can get to a place where you've really manifested or achieved a lot of what you wanted to achieve in life. But in order to sustain it sometimes, or in order to move beyond it, you got to keep doing the work. And so much of manifesting, goal setting, living your dream life, so much of it is really about the internal work more so than what you're doing externally. It's like you can post a million YouTube videos, but if you're never seeing the result that you wanted, there could be something deeper lying in wait beyond it. And I think that it is, important for us to continue to do that work. And I know not everybody feels called to do that personal growth kind of work, and that's fine too. I want to make that statement, not that everybody has to do this kind of work, but if you feel called to it because you've been feeling stuck in your life, I think it can be really powerful to do it. The work works on you before it works for you. That is so smart. Yes, I've never heard that before, but it's so good. How do you find out what your 2026 tarot card is? So I feel like we've talked about this so much lately. Somebody give it a rundown in the comments. You can just Google it basically, but it has to do with adding up your birthday. So you add up, like for me, it's 01/23/1977. So I add all those numbers together, but instead of the 1977 that's how you get your lifetime card. But for your yearly growth card, it's for this type of tarot, it's based more on your birthday than it is on the year in terms of January 1st. So my birthday is January 23rd. So my 2026-27 yearly card will start January 23rd and go through 2027. But it's basically like adding up your month, your day, and your year, like 2026, and that'll give it to you. Oh, this is so true. These are the two books that made the biggest difference for me. And I've talked about this before. The Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. This is another good book that comes with a workbook. And what I did back in the day when I was in this huge rut, it's so funny because I've been talking about this a couple times today. By the way, the 2026 planner lineup will go up today. It might be late, but it will go up. It's edited. It'll just needs to be uploaded. But I was talking about this on this video too, that period of time in my life of I had just been in such a depression for so long that I couldn't do it anymore. It was like, I have to fix my life. And Kanban board was pivotal for me. Just having those daily steps that I could see visually on a board, that changed my life. And also those two books, The Big Leap and The Desire Map. And I actually did a Priceline hotel deal where I got a hotel for like $65, went to a hotel and left George and Andrew back in the day behind for a couple of nights. And I worked through that entire workbook, The Desire Map, and just really realized this is how I want to feel. This is the kind of person I want to be. I don't know if it would resonate with me now the way that it did then, because we change as we go. But that is also another really transformative book that has a lot of good questions in it. Joshi, Corinne, Jess, highly recommend if you've never looked at that. So Kelly explains my birthday, June 14th. So 614 plus 2026 is 21. So birthday, birth month, current year. We're both the Empress together, like twins. I'm just going to add you a bunch of books. It's old. I mean, The Desire Map is more than 10 years old, I think, but it was really, really good and pivotal for me in my transformation time. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it just because if you've been feeling that a little bit this year too, we're going through it together, and it doesn't mean like predictor that things are falling apart. I really don't think. I think it just means, okay, there needs to be some introspection here to try to figure out where am I going next? And so, do you have any suggestions for books to help with having been terribly bullied as a kid? I'm 67 and I still have problems since elementary school. I feel like such a loser and I get so angry sometimes. I think that all of this is wrapped up together. Try The Big Leap, honestly, as a place to start, because it is so much about like being bullied in that way. And even when kids, like, you may have had some really cruel kids. I had some bullying experiences that really still sit with me 40 years later as well, and I know how much it can get in your head, because it teaches you in those formative years when your brain and your personality is still developing that you aren't good and you aren't worthy. And I think that that is really at the core of it, is this idea that I'm not good enough, I can't do that, nobody loves me. If I put myself out there, I'm gonna get hurt again. Start with that. But if anybody else has any other good ones, here's a good one: Gift of Imperfection. That's a Brene Brown book. If you want to check that one out. I was bullied every day of elementary school. I hate that for all of you. Mel Robbins' Let Them book could help with bullying too. I have not read that one. It's extra hard when you live with the bully. Well, that is true. That is absolutely true. That hits hard, Augustina. It is very true. But yeah, any of those sort of formative years that you were traumatized or bullied or hurt can really teach you things that aren't true about yourself. Like, it can make you feel unsafe to your core. And I think that it's just important to try your best to learn to love yourself, self-love. There's a book by, is it Camille Ravikant, that's called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. That also is really good, but he talks so much about his breakup that it, may not have as much relevance in his story, but I think his process of learning to love himself is also really good. So that can really be maybe helpful. Let's keep talking through ways. You're not alone, Martha. You're not alone. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're a beautiful, amazing person with all these amazing gifts, and just crappy people taught you bad things, right? Is Atomic Habits good? I mean, I have a bone to pick with that book sometimes. It's definitely not, I don't think it's helpful for this kind of personal work, but it's more about micro habits, I think. Whether it's good or not, I kind of think depends on how much work you've done with habits in the past. But I think a lot of the good things in that book are really about how to stack your habits and how to start small instead of starting really big. But that doesn't always resonate with me. I like to start big, which means I also fall on my face a lot. So I probably should listen to it more. But it was not my favorite book. But I think it has something like hundreds of thousands of good reviews. So I think it is good, but I don't think it's going to help with like, I was bullied in school kind of emotions. When is your productivity book coming out? I know, man. I think about it. I do think about it a lot. We do have some questions in the Friday coffee chat that have been here for a while, and I don't think I've answered these, but if I answer it again, please forgive me. Art Life for Life says, how do you deal with too many possibilities paralysis? A lot of the times I'll start a book, I'll have most of the plot thought out already, I'll create this outline, and then I'll go to write it, and I'll get a few chapters in, and suddenly I'm stuck because there's too many possibilities. Mostly I end up going back to the first chapter, but occasionally I get stuck on later chapters as well. How do you know when you find the right storyline or the right plot points? I have a lot of story ideas constantly, and it's hard for me to choose one to commit to, but every time I do, I just end up getting stuck and never finish a book. I've been trying to write a book for the last 5 years and have failed to do so. So I'm hoping for guidance. Thank you in advance. So this is a tough question because it depends on so many different things. But, I think that it can be tough because I went through this with the Mirror of Shadows. Like it could go this way. Any of these options could be good enough, but nothing feels like it's the right idea yet. So I do feel like sometimes there's an intuitiveness of this is the right story for me. This is the one. Yeah, an intuition that it's a feeling inside you when it clicks. But here's the problem is that sometimes you can't get to that unless you're just writing your way through and then you say, no, that's not right. But if you keep quitting and going back to the beginning or starting a new one, you'll never find it, right? So you have to kind of work through the discomfort of this might not be the right story yet. Sometimes for me, what I have to do is I have to look ahead, and everybody's going to be a little bit different. But if I have hit a midpoint, let's say, and I don't know because there's any possibility of what could happen to these characters, I don't know what's right, is I will just spend some time either talking to the characters, going for a long walk, and trying to envision how does this book end, right? How does this book end? And trying to see, do I know anything else about the story that's coming up? Like, you may not know the exact steps, but I know in the end, they end up in this warehouse and XYZ happens. If you can figure that out, then try to work your way backwards through the plot points until you find something that seems to fit. And once you like try something, you'll have this intuitiveness of, does this really fit? Does this feel good enough? But I think the other hard part about that is sometimes fear gets in the way and it becomes so much louder than your intuition that you can't tell if this is my intuition saying this isn't right, or if this is just my fear saying this isn't good enough. And so in that case, I think you have to just keep writing and just go ahead and finish the book. When I wrote Beautiful Demons, which was the first book that I finished and published, it wasn't the first book I finished altogether, but it was the first one I published. It was wrong all the way through. I didn't know what I was doing. And it wasn't until I wrote the end that I suddenly had a blast of clarity of like, oh, I know how to fix this. But I never would have had that moment if I hadn't finished the book. And so if you're really stuck for 5 years, I would say pick your most completed story, the one that feels the best to you, or the thing you're most excited about now, and commit to, I don't care how bad this is, I'm going to finish this book and I'm just going to make a choice. And if I'm sitting here and I'm trying to decide, keep asking yourself questions. Okay, this is where they were in this point. What is the kind of thing my character needs to go through in order to become the person they need to be? So for example, if it's a romance and you're trying to make sure that at the end, they're no longer the like recluse kind of person who's scared to put themselves out there, how do they need to go through that journey? What kinds of situations are going to take them through that journey to where they can suddenly become the kind of person who goes out and meets a person and falls in love and opens their heart to them? And so you have to put them through situations that will open their heart, that will challenge them, that will, whatever. So maybe they have a next door neighbor who has a child with special needs, and that relationship opens their heart up for love. So there's a million possibilities, but you've got to think in terms of the character arc. What does my character need to overcome to become the person they need to be? Or if it's a more plot driven thing, say who's the main antagonist and how are we going to win the day? And keep asking those types of questions and seeing if you can get to it. I can't say it ever clicks until I'm working through it. I only wish I ever had started sooner. Yeah, so that could be helpful. Personal hot take, but this is where ChatGPT could come in handy, strictly for brainstorming, not to write your book for you. Please don't come for me. Yeah, we're not coming for anybody in these comments, but yeah, if you want to brainstorm, I've heard that ChatGPT can be fun for brainstorming. It can be good, but also just having a friend to bounce ideas off of. If you didn't watch my series on YouTube about how to actually finish your novel, there's some good tips in there as well. Or my series about how to write your book from scenes, that also might be helpful. There's going to be more stuff about that coming next year as well. Dun, dun, dun. All right. I answered that one already. Elizabeth says, I'm about to finish the first draft of my first book. I know you're supposed to put it away for a few months before you edit. Should I go ahead and start writing the second book in the series when I finish, or should I wait until I edit the first book? It's really like whatever you want to do. I don't wait between edits. I feel like it's fresher. And so as soon as I can, I try to jump into edits very quickly, but not everybody's like that. So again, just try it, see if you can get some edits in there. just posted a question. I was like, "Did a new question just pop up?" Yes. But you could also start writing book 2, but I will tell you this, if it's a series that you have to read book 1, like A Mirror of Shadows, like, obviously everything that happens in book 2 is gonna be based on book 1. I'm not really fully writing book 2 until book 1 is fully edited because what if it changes? What if the plot line changes and then I'm too long in between? But some people need that time. So I wouldn't use a like people say you should. I would just say, do you feel like doing edits or do you want to let it sit and do whatever you want to do? Ooh, Jeremy, your card is the world. I love that for you. That's a good card for next year. That's a good card for next year. Ah, okay. All right. Nick says, I'm curious about the January plans you hinted at that would be suitable for HB90 and YPF alumni, if you can give us any hints. So, a little bit of the hints is it is going to be called the follow through fix, and it is going to be all about accountability, about making sure you follow through, about meeting up once a month to have basically an HB90 level pep talk and recentering. It's going to be about just that accountability side of it of, okay, you have the plan. Now let's follow through on it. And we're going to hold each other accountable to following through. So that's the follow through fix coming soon. And then Simulated Sarah just posted, totally goofy random question. How have you lived in the South most of your life and not have a thick accent? Is that something you had to work on to sing opera? Oh yes. The first time that I stepped on stage and I was in college, I announced an Italian aria with a Southern accent, and they wouldn't let me sing. They yelled at me and sent me off the stage. They were like, "You learn to speak correctly, or you will not be allowed to sing." So yes. I had to work on it a lot, and it does come out more during certain times than it does during others, and if I don't really go back home to Georgia anymore, but back when I did, I would come back to George, and I would be, like, talking like this, and he'd be like, "Well, I can tell you've been home." It's so funny when you hear I'll have to see if I can pull it up, but my like high school senior tape, they always did a thing about like every kid got to say where you're going to school and stuff like that. And I would be like, well, my name is Sarra Cannon and I'm going to Vanderbilt University. It's just it's very Southern. Yeah. I mean, it's rude, but it's also like they're preparing you for what they know is going to happen when you get into the professional world. So, it's both those things, but, yeah, they were not very kind to me. It definitely beat it out of me my freshman year in college for sure. Um, One of my friends does every time I'm around him, I start to pick it up. It is an easy accent to slip into, and it would be boring if we all sounded the same, but I think sometimes you can hear it. Uh, yeah, sometimes you can hear it, but not as much. I think it just got kind of moved. I don't know. It just got moved out of my body after all of that. But anyway, I feel like there was another question I wanted to answer that came. Uh, I wish I was a note card plot girly. I love stationery. Me too. Uh, Dan Brown's course. Oh, it's brilliant. I'm glad to hear that. I feel like there was another question and I saw it, but I didn't get a chance to answer it. Oh, 2026 is the Empress. I love to hear that. So good. I missed it. Oh, here it is. Louisa said, how long is the Plan Your Writing Year live stream? So over on Heart Breathings on Sunday. So tomorrow is double down day. So we have all day writing sprints. I will be live from 11 to 1 Eastern on Heart Breathings writing or editing probably. And then Plan Your Writing Year is 3 to 5 p.m. Is that right? 3 to 5 p.m. So it'll be probably about 2 hours. It usually takes 2 hours. I always say, come hang out with me for an hour. And it almost always is 2. So at least an hour and a half. Plan for at least an hour and a half. High Priestess. I have been catching up with the 365 Coloring Art Challenge. That sounds so nice. Oh, it's the Hanged Man. Okay. Change in perspective. Learning to let go. I love that for your debut year. 2026 card is death, which means dramatic change for the better and not bad stuff. I feel like death is really one of the most positive cards in the tarot. It can really be one of the most positive. So good. So good. I'm going to, hey, Andy's here. Can't wait for the follow through thing. I think it's going to be really, really good. I think it'll be good for me. And I think it'll be good for everybody who joins in. It might be a small group, might be a big group. I have no idea, but I'm going to really enjoy it. I know for sure. I'm going to go ahead and pull a tarot card and just say like, past, present, future. I don't always do well with past, present, future tarot card spreads, but I'm going to do 3 cards. So past, we have the World, which is good for a past card, I think, or a present card. Then, ooh, this one just jumped out. So present, Ace of Wands. And then what does the future hold? Please don't be the Nine of Swords. Okay. I think we have, 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is the Shadowscapes Tarot deck. Just kind of a general reading before we go for Friday. But the past card, we get the World, which for me, if I think about my own journey and everything we've been talking about today, this could very much mean, you're just on you're just on a cycle, and this is the end of a cycle. So celebrate how far you've come, but be ready to go back into noob mode, like getting back to the full and having that sense of like really celebrate, really get your balance around what you have created, but know that you are entering into a new cycle coming up. So then we have the Ace of Wands for present, which really is all about new passion, new things that you're excited about, what new is sparking you up, which is giving you life again. And for me, this does make a lot of sense because I have transitioned from so much to this feeling of needing to get back to what lights me up. I can't just keep doing the same things over and over again. I need to get back to what feels like joy. I don't want to be on that cycle. I feel you, Jennifer. Just this idea of, oh, Evie wants to come say hi. Yeah, she can come say hello. She can come say hello. The Ace of Wands is really all about that, like new ideas, anything is possible. The universe is conspiring to like send all of this like passion and fire and, dreams back to you, which after a year of feeling creatively burned out, that feels like a very positive card because I have been feeling, obviously with the Mirror of Shadows, that joy and passion coming back. And then future is 6 of Pentacles, which is so much about being able to. So for me, I felt like this year it's been difficult to give as much as I've wanted to for part of the year. Like I haven't shown up as much on social media. I haven't been able to give as much really good, like radiant energy, despite the fact that that was my word of the year and I wanted it to be the main thing. Hello, my sweet girl. How are you?
Look what I got.
Oh my goodness. Where'd you get that? From the Tip Top shop?
I got like 1,000 bags for just like little things like this.
1,000 bags?
Well, not 1,000, but I got a lot of bags.
Okay.
I named him Diney.
She named him Diney. He's very cute.
I got it from the Tip Top holiday shop.
They do a shop at school where people donate things, and then from there they get to buy things for like their family and things like that. Did you get presents for everybody?
My class?
No, for everybody on your list.
I got something for Logan. It was...
You can tell me later. Oh.
Guess what?
Okay, we'll talk about it in a minute. So 6 of Pentacles to me feels very much like as you get to this next stage of beginning to fill your own well, you're going to be able to, oh, it's not donated. I thought it was donated. Okay. Well, that's my mistake. I did not know that. So this feels very much like overflow into being able to give and receive and getting back to community. So I feel like this is a very positive messages for me. Yep, lots of high EVs. Anyone else leaning closer to hear what Evie's saying? They were trying to hear you. They do that at my niece's school. It's so fun to see what she picks for everyone. I literally thought it was like a fundraiser and that everything was donated. That is my misunderstanding.
And Mama, can I tell you something?
Yeah, real quick.
So there were the bells inside the school, and we got to take one of our shoes off. And guess what? I got Oreos.
You got Oreos?
I got Oreos from the guy.
St. Nicholas.
Uh-huh.
They took their shoes off and they got presents from St. Nicholas.
It was actually
it was St. Salazar from your school? Yes.
Because I don't think he died. So.
Oh, St. Nicholas is not around anymore. Okay. Well, I think that is I think that is the conclusion of our Friday coffee chat. Did you have fun at the parade last night? Yeah, she had
Ben wasn't here.
Ben wasn't at school today?
Coughing.
Oh, uh-oh. Great. So the boy she spent all the time with yesterday is not at school today because he's sick. Joy.
coughing.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys so much for a good coffee chat. This was fun and always helpful and healing to have this time to come and hang out with you and just to be able to talk and be honest about how things are going. I just really appreciate you and I appreciate this space. I hope you all have a great weekend. I will be back next Friday. I'm pretty sure we have all day your path forward next Friday, but I think I'll still be here, but I'll keep you guys updated if I can't make it, just because it is a lot of live streaming going on, but I still would like to be here. I also want to get back to the Twitch because I really want to finish Silent Hill and there's so much more to go. So
Mama,
we shall see.
Evie wants to say?
Oh, Evie, all for me. Are you sending her kisses all for you, Rana? Yeah, it's all for you. Blowing kisses.
What does he say?
Just says blowing kisses for both of you. You can read that now. She's doing such a good job reading.
And then what is that? All that why?
All right. I will see you guys soon. We super love you all.
Super big kiss.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.